Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Prominent Nigerians, including President Bola Tinubu and former presidents Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, have joined the Ijaw Nation and the entire Niger Delta in mourning the loss of Nigeria's foremost nationalist, Chief Edwin Clark, OFR, CON. Chief Clark passed away last Monday, leaving behind a remarkable legacy of service to the Ijaw Nation, the Niger Delta, Nigeria, and humanity. Leaders across the country mourning the elder statesman who lived an impactful 97 years, urging all Nigerians to uphold the values of justice, equity, and fairness that defined his life.
As soon as the news of the sudden demise of the former Federal Commissioner for Information and leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, Chief Senator Dr. Edwin Clark, filtered in last Tuesday, the 18th of February 2025, his residence in Asokoro in Abuja became a beehive of activities. Men and women from all over the country trooped in to pay their condolences and sympathize with the family over the loss. President Bola Tinubu, in his condolence message to the Clark family, the Ijaw Nation, Delta State, and the Niger Delta, described the late Pa Clark as a courageous leader who stood firmly for his beliefs and was never afraid to stand alone in the face of injustice. For their parts, former presidents Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, as well as the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, in company of other prominent Nigerians, physically visited the home of the deceased to sympathize with the family.
He was, by every standard, a patriot. I paid similar visit to the one I paid today to my senior brother, Ayo Adebanjo.
The work that these people have done must not be in vain.
Amen. Clark, you only use different words to say the same thing, because we know who he stands for. In fact, a friend of mine from Benue State called, said, President Jonathan, now that Clark is gone, you have to take over the leadership because you have to replace him in Nigeria. I said, look, yes, by divine providence, I had the privilege of becoming president of Nigeria for 5 years. But the shoes that D.K. Clark was wearing, my foot, they are too tiny.
He fought for the less privileged, and particularly the people of the minorities in Nigeria who are everywhere. And it was a voice that would never be forgotten. You can't even write the history of Nigeria without mentioning Edwin Clark.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Minister for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lokpobiri, and their entourage were amongst the early callers at the residence of Pa Clark. Governors from the oil-rich Bayelsa and Delta State also led their various delegations to the house to sympathize with the family and pray for the repose of his soul. All who came extolled Clark's legacy of tenacity and unyielding spirits that led him to championing the cause of minorities, not just in his home region of the Niger Delta, but across the entire country.
We want to thank God for today, that he has led the Ijaw ethnic nationality. He has represented us in this country, and he has been a voice of the oppressed, a voice for democracy, and a voice for the minorities.
It is with profound sorrow that I extend my deepest condolences to the family of Pa Clark, the people of Kiagodo, the Ijaw Nation, and the Niger Delta over his demise.
My Clark lives a very good life, fulfilled life. So his life is worth celebrating.
Meanwhile, the Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dr. Samuel Obuku, in his condolence message, urged the people of the region to uphold and advance the vision of the late Pa Clark as espoused in his brainchild, PANDEF.
Because he has done virtually everything he needed to do on earth. He has mentored people from one generation to another generation. Today, Niger Delta is what it is today, is by AKUGHA. To call on every son and daughter of Niger Delta to give their support to the executives and members of PANDEF to carry on with the vision of AKUGHA, so that is the only way our father can be immortalized.
Some of the people who had close interactions with the late elder statesman, like the first military governor of Rivers State, His Royal Majesty Alfred Diete Spieth, and Professor Jerry Ghana, who served with Clark in the Nigerian Senate in 1983, shared some fond memories of the late sage and champion of egalitarian Nigeria.
Launched a book which he wrote about being brutally frank, and indeed that was Pa Clark himself. He has always maintained that he's in the departure lounge. That is 40 years ago.
He was one of the oldest, and he really looked after me very well in terms of ideas. I'm extremely proud to have known him. He related very well with our people here in the Middle Belt part of Nigeria.
The national chairman of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, Ambassador Godnose Igali, while receiving the callers, recounted the very last moments of Chief Clark, noting that he lived a happy and fulfilled life.
Nigeria is my country. That was the last word. He said, I love Nigeria twice. No, first he said I'm in Nigeria. Then he said, I love Nigeria twice. The last word was, Nigeria is my country. Nigeria is my country. And then after that, who was he talking to? He was addressing the country. The challenge has come to all of us to build this nation. He has done his best. And sometimes we wondered how he meandered from one problem to another. Problem, Benue State is on top of it. Nasarawa State, this house was permanently a house of meetings.
Other prominent figures who came to condole with the family in their moment of grief include the president of the Ijaw National Congress, INC, Professor Benjamin Okaba, the administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Dennis Otuaro, senators from across the country, ministers and respected clergymen like Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, among many others.
Inside the Niger Delta,